For the longest time at this channel, you've heard me talk about understanding your average deal so you can only do good or great deals. About 9 months ago, it might be a year, I said the market is changing and good has left the building. We are only doing great deals.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I have now come to the opinion that we could do good or great deals. So, first, I want to quickly define what a good or great is, just generically speaking. I want to talk about why I have brought good back because I think that is important. I want you to see my logic. And I'm going to do this with my good buddy, Matt, the Lumberjack Landcourt Lord, because I know he will push back if he disagrees. How you doing, buddy?
Yes and yes. Good,
Yeah,
good and yes.
there you go. Well, I'm going to use some very simple examples. We go through this in my buy box and course and all of this, but we're just going to say an average deal is 6% cash on cash yield, return on capital, whatever that is.
Mhm.
A good deal is about 20% better than average. So simple math, 7.2, I'm going to round to 7.5. So average is 6, good is 7.5. A great
Mhm.
deal is 50% better than average. So in this example, it goes from 6 to 9%,
Yep.
right? Those are just generic. You do your work, you figure out average,
Mhm.
and then use those ratios. Now for the important part, why I changed my opinion. Well, first off, I changed my opinion to let good go because I saw the Fed raising rates. At the time, I had a guess where terminal rate was. I said 5%, but we were at 1%. I didn't know where we would go in that. I didn't know how bad transactions would fall. I guessed 40%. 40 to 50% was my guess. We hit 40. But now we're here, right? The 9 months have gone by or 10 months have gone by. We're at the terminal rate. I think the Fed's done. We have bottomed out in transactions. I believe the spread on mortgages, which as of yesterday, according to Lance Lambert from Fortune, is 313 basis, I think over time shrinks. So all of these things make me think that housing, while not healthy, it's still a broken housing market. We don't have more surprises. I don't think we get 8% mortgage rates. I don't think we go to 3 million transactions. I think there's first time home buyer programs. So all of these things lead me to believe that good could come back, right?
Mhm.
I took good off the table because of risk. I saw, or I assumed there could be things that I'd be wrong about, frankly. And when that happens, and you can read about it in one rental at a time, my book, I talked about 2 times in 15 years where I only did great. This was the third.
Mhm.
But now I really do believe we can bring good back because if we have the terminal rate, right, we know where the peak is and we can figure out and do a good deal, which again is 20% higher than average or 50% for great. I think we have protection to the downside. So that's what I was thinking. Why yesterday I made a video at 5 o'clock and published it that we can do good deals now. So what do you think? Good and great back, or are you only doing great?
Um, I'm only doing great, but it's based on my portfolio.
Right. You're kind of
I already have a big portfolio, so I don't need to
right.
do good deals. And I don't need the frequency of my deals to be there. So if you're looking for frequency, if you start considering good, that's going to give you more opportunity.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
I do think this is important for first time folks that are starting. I think
yes.
one of the things I inadvertently did by taking good off the table is I may have confused people,
Mhm.
right? By only putting great on it, they're harder. And if it's your
Almost
first
impossible
time,
or impossible
yeah,
to find. Yeah,
it's
sure.
hard, right? I've done what, 3 in the last 18 months. It's hard.
Yeah,
Not impossible, but again, we have advantages. We have a network, we have deal flow, we have
sure.
off-market deals. It's just what happens when you're in the game for 20 years. But I really, and Raul, I believe, brought this to my attention. I may inadvertently confuse the folks starting. I don't, I don't know if that's true, but it's certainly a concern of mine.
Mhm.
But I do think the market is kind of peaked out at uncertainty. So putting good back on the table, I think, helps the people starting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, uh, I think that a good deal, if that's what I mean, your market may never have great deals. Like it,
Right.
it might never get to a deal where you can make 9 on a 6,
Exactly.
or it might be 6 on a 4, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Like might not have those. And so I think that that's important. I think that, kind of my approach still is that small multifamily is still vastly undervalued. Based on rents, it's still vastly undervalued. On my single family home versus my duplexes, I don't get a 30% reduction in rents. I get a 10% reduction in rents, but I'm not paying twice the price for the duplex over the house.
Yeah.
I think people need to be strongly considering strategies that get them on the ladder, i.e., good or great deals, but house hacking still.
Yeah.
House hacking still. I've talked to a number of people that are actually selling their houses, and they said, we will rent because we want to buy small multifamily because the numbers are just that ridiculous. We're starting to finally see some really heavy movements. And it's crazy because not a lot of small multifamily is like a redheaded stepchild. It's just like left alone. There's no real metrics that follows it. Like it's either large multifamily, commercial, or residential. And they talk about, single family homes mostly. But
Yeah.
the amount of income off of small multifamily 2, 3, and 4, especially when you're house hacking, in almost every scenario that I've seen, you're living for free or for maybe half of what the market rent would be on that type of a property.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people aren't leveraging that, especially now that the giveaway administration is now giving away credit.
Yeah.
They're giving away credit. You don't know how to save. You don't have good credit. That's okay. We'll just penalize the people that know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And so
It,
your monthly payment's going to be lower. How people are not leveraging that is beyond me.
yeah. It's funny. I actually interviewed somebody who's house hacked in Texas on the VA loan. Right. I think he
Perfect.
told me in the interview, I think he brought like $3,000 or something for closing costs
Just
and
closing.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, his expenses went down like 60%. I'm
Yep.
like, by the way, housing is paid for by the military, right? They have a housing stipend or something like that.
They
So
do.
pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know why folks the property again, you got to own assets. We talked about getting wealthy in the first one. You got to own
That's right.
assets, and I don't have very many financial regrets, but one of them is not house hacking a fourplex in 93 or 94. I mean, my goodness.
It's even duplexes. Like we house hacked a duplex 7 years ago. We house hacked it. Yes, I've only lived in a single family home for just a few years, but we lived in a house hack duplex about 7 years ago. We bought it for 170. We put about 50 grand into it. We were into it for 220. We haven't refinanced. We haven't cash pulled. It's worth about 700 now. Now, I don't care about the appreciation. What I care about is that one side rents for 3,000 and the other side rents for 26. $5,600 a month, and that mortgage is about 2,500, $2,600 a month. That building makes $3,000 a month. That
Okay.
I mean, again, this is and so people can do it in a way that if you have your assets pay for your lifestyle later on in
Yeah.
life, like you don't need it right now. And that's what a lot of people that have bought houses and regret it because they're just like, yeah, I feel kind of house poor. Well, you were
Yeah.
kind of
Wait.
you were
Yeah.
kind of house stupid. So, it's
Yeah. It's
math.
it's it's really, I think it's an important tweak. And again, I only put it back on because I do think we've kind of reached peak uncertainty. I don't see
Yeah.
rates going much higher.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't see transactions going much lower. I do expect the days on market to grow, which means a slower market. I do expect credit to be tighter. It's kind of all the things that I thought would happen happened. And now I'm like, okay, we've settled down and now we can do good deals again. But to be clear, that doesn't mean average and that doesn't mean bad deals. We never have permission for negative cash flow. We never bet on appreciation and
Right.
we don't do average. Anybody could do an average deal.
Right.
We don't do that here.
Well, the other thing that's challenging too is, we look at median home prices, right? And everyone's like, see, it happened. Take a breath. What really happened? Transactions
Yeah.
and the median plus, like we've been talking about for a year. It's median minus that's going to stay very strong.
Oh,
Where
it's white hot. White hot.
right. I literally am getting calls on the 2 single family homes that I own. Are you sure you don't want to sell it right now? I was like, no, I don't no,
Yeah.
I
No,
just
thank you.
don't. And the crazy funny thing is it's like, I could probably sell it and put it into another small multifamily, But this is the craziness, is that it's not that the market went down. It's that levels of transactions disappeared. And that's what I've been saying for a year. It was the median plus. It was the luxury buyer. It was the move up buyer, like you and I have talked about at length,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who's trading in a 2.5 or a 3% mortgage for a 7% mortgage?
Yeah. There was a wonderful tweet. I think it was from Sacramento Appraiser. I could be wrong yesterday, but it's basically said this: who wants 20% more house for 200% more payment?
Exactly.
I'm like, that's it.
Is
That's
exactly right.
exactly what's happening. It's like, no, thank you.
But we're still seeing in our market, like starter homes just getting more expensive. They're not coming.
Yeah.
They haven't come down at all. And every single time one posts, it's gone in 5 days.
Yeah, I got a picture from somebody in my market, Fresno, California, about just a know nothing house. It'd been updated, but it was a 3-1. It was like 912 square feet. Just nothing. Lines out the door for the
Yeah.
open house.
Yeah. I talked to my agent, I think this was last week, 65 people at a $400,000 home, starter home, 65 people. And the guy goes, well, yeah, but it was just somebody was like, yeah, well, I've been an open house agent. It was just a bunch of lookers. I was like, no. You take ownership. You're bad at inducing offers if you think only one person's writing an offer out of that group.
Oh,
That's what you're
yeah.
bad at. So
Yeah.
they got, I think it was either 9 or 11 offers or something like that. And they were all asking over.
Yeah.
And you're seeing stories again of people's, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 over ask, 10% over ask, and they're not getting the deal. Median minus is where it's at. We told you that the housing market wasn't going to go down in that spectrum. And so, yeah, median's coming down. Exactly. High end luxury and move up buyers have disappeared from the market. Those transactions are a fraction.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking to buy in that price range, it's a little bit fun shopping, right, Mike? I mean, a little bit
It is
fun.
fun to shop. It's fun to shop. Yeah.
It's
Again,
like $2
folks,
million properties, a little over,
Oh.
$1.3 million, $1.4 million. And you're like, we have more to go.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I do think Patrick McDavid is right about the luxury market.
Yeah.
Time to write disrespectful offers. And it only gets better from here, right? We get this recession, we get a stock market, conniption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Because nobody needs a luxury home.
No.
You might want a luxury home.
I bought my house for half of what it cost to build it.
There you go. Okay.
Value. And you're not going to get that on these median homes, these median minus homes. Median minus is the middle of the market minus, and that median and below. And so that median minus home is continuing to go up. It's not enough to buoy the entire market up, because if you figure it, a typical median home, $400,000, and your typical luxury real estate, $1.5, $1.6 million. But that used to have 50 transactions a month, and now they're doing 10 transactions a month. That's literally like taking 200 homes and essentially, or 160 homes off the market, or sales out of the market.
The median is such an interesting number that nobody really understands. Line up all the transactions, find the one in the middle, take all those transactions, erase 30% here. Guess what happens to the median?
Uh-huh. Yep. And it's like those entry level homes are still flying off the market. Multiple offers. It's the whole nine.
Yeah. So this is why, folks, I feel good about putting good back on the table. Great is really hard to find. It's not impossible, but it is admittedly hard. I think we've de-risked this. So if you find a value add opportunity or a house hack or something, and it is truly a good deal, it's a 7.5 on a 6 or a 6 on a 4, whatever it is for your buy box, time to write good offers. Still don't do average, don't do bad, but good or great is back in the building. Matt, how can they find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and on Instagram. And we've got a lot of projects that we've getting live in the last couple of weeks. And so we're posting almost every day, the joys of landlording.
There you go, brother. Take care of yourself. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.